The illusion of control. Why traders outsource responsibility and chase certainty. Have you ever wondered why some of the most intelligent traders make the most irrational decisions? Why people with spreadsheets, data models, and 10 years of backtesting still end up blowing up accounts, breaking rules they swore by, and blaming the markets for their downfall? Let's begin here. The markets don't destroy traders. Traders destroy themselves trying to control what can't be controlled. This video is about something most books don't tell you. It's not a strategy. It's not a technical pattern. It's a question we all need to ask. Why do so many traders abandon personal responsibility and chase illusionary certainty, often at the cost of their peace, their money, and sometimes their sense of identity? Let's talk about that. Chapter 1. The psychology of responsibility avoidance. Every trader starts with a dream: freedom, mastery, wealth, escape. But somewhere along the way, the game turns on them. What began as calculated risk becomes emotional gambling. What started as self-empowerment becomes a desperate search for someone or something to blame. We see it all the time. The Fed ruined my position. The algorithm triggered my stop. This setup should have worked. This isn't trading anymore. It's outsourcing responsibility. But here's the thing. That behavior isn't unique to trading. It's deeply human. Psychologists call this locus of control. People with an external locus believe outcomes are determined by forces outside of themselves. People with an internal locus believe they are responsible for their own fate. And in trading, the market constantly invites you to believe you're not in control. Because in many ways, you're not. You can't control the market. You can't control the news. You can't control other traders. So what do most people do? They try to control outcomes. They chase strategies that guarantee profits. They look for signals that eliminate doubt. They treat trading like a slot machine they can eventually outsmart. But as Mark Douglas once said, the consistency you seek is in your mind, not in the markets. Chapter 2. The survival instinct in a performance arena. Let's talk about survival, not financial survival, psychological survival. When we trade, we are placing ourselves in a real-time performance environment. Every tick, every candle, every pip, it's feedback. And when we lose, it feels personal. That loss isn't just money. It becomes a judgment. You're not smart enough. You're not fast enough. You're not good enough. So what do? We create psychological shields. We convince ourselves it wasn't our fault. We chase redemption trades. We double down, not on edge, but on ego. This is where cognitive dissonance kicks in. Your identity says, I'm a skilled trader. Reality says, you just lost 30% of your account. To reconcile that discomfort, the mind either has to, A, accept that you made a mistake and change your behavior, or B, defend your ego and look for an external excuse. Guess which one is more emotionally comfortable? Yeah, B, but there's a cost. Every time you abandon responsibility, you give away your power to grow. Chapter 3, the myth of certainty. Human beings are wired to avoid uncertainty. Our brains evolved to seek predictability because in ancient times, uncertainty could mean death. Today in trading, uncertainty just means risk. But our brains still treat it like danger. So what do? We chase certainty. Certainty in the form of unbeatable strategies. Certainty in the form of magic indicators. Certainty in following someone else's trade idea so we don't feel the burden of being wrong. But here's the reality. Trading is an uncertain game, and the only real control you have is over your behavior. As Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. In trading, the chart becomes a mirror. It reflects your impulses, your fears, your biases, your need to be right, your need to avoid pain. And unless you take ownership of that, the market will gladly teach you over and over again. Chapter 4. Stories. Traders tell themselves. Here's a subtle thing that happens in every trader's mind. They create narratives. I was almost right. It would have worked if I had just entered earlier. This system is broken. I need a new one. These stories protect us from feeling inadequate, but they also trap us in loops. Loops of trying to predict instead of manage risk. Loops of blaming instead of refining. Loops of chasing outcomes instead of mastering process. Think about this. Every trader who's ever succeeded long-term had to break that loop. Not because they found the secret, but because they accepted they are the variable. Chapter 5, a new relationship with uncertainty. So what's the way out? If chasing certainty, control, and ego validation leads to loss and stagnation, what's the alternative? It starts with this. Stop needing to be right. Start learning to be responsible. Being responsible doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you own your process. You can't control your profit on any given trade, but you can control your position size, your risk management, your reaction to a loss, your consistency in following a plan, your emotional state while making decisions. Here's something Warren Buffett once said. You can't tell who's swimming naked until the tide goes out. In trading, the tide always goes out. The market will always expose emotional nudity. So the best traders aren't just technically skilled, they're psychologically prepared. Chapter 6, the way forward, practical shifts. Here are 5 practical shifts that help reclaim responsibility. 1. Journal every trade. Not just what you traded, but why. Capture your mindset, be honest. 2. Stop chasing trades. Let the market come to you. Learn to sit with discomfort. Practice restraint. 3. Embrace small losses. Losses aren't punishments. They're part of the business. Respect the game. 4. Create pre-commitment systems. Automate your good behavior. Remove decisions during emotional moments. 5. Seek growth, not validation. You're not here to prove you're smart. You're here to become better. Growth doesn't feel good. It's messy, uncomfortable. It makes you question yourself. But it's also what sets you free. Final thoughts. Let me leave you with a final reflection. Traders don't fail because they're not smart enough. They fail because they refuse to look inward. The biggest market to master isn't the stock market or the Forex market or the crypto market. It's the internal market, the one where fear, hope, ego, and belief are traded every day. You will never control the market, but you can learn to navigate yourself. And in doing that, you stop being a victim of the chart and become the architect of your craft. Thanks for watching. Trade consciously, and remember, profits follow process, but freedom follows responsibility. See you in the next one.